Maybe I don't need to go live. Or turn on the light. I am live. I don't know what that sound is. Oh. Good morning, good morning. I guess it's not morning anymore. Oh, it kind of is. It's still 11:30, at least for us here in Washington. Using my donut coaster. And I'm wearing my wife's shirt. How is everybody? Good, I hope. I hope. I am going live because I thought it would be fun to talk about myself and where I'm from and who I am and all that other junkety junk talk. So as many of you know, my name is Jennifer. I'm not going to disclose my last name, even though I probably have at some point. I live in the Puget Sound of Washington. Right across the sound is Seattle. That gives you some kind of reference. We go on the Tacoma Narrows Bridge over. And if a little side note, if you look up the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, the very first one on YouTube, you will see a video of it going like this. And basically falling down. Tacoma Narrows Bridge is falling down, or it did. And it is a terrifying video. And one of my biggest fears is somehow driving off of a cliff or an embankment or just into a body of water and dying. Not being able to get out of the car and dying. One of my worst fears. And I know that you can take the headrests off the back of the seat and puncture, and that will break the side windows. I know. Still terrified. So I see that video. And along with that fear, now I hate the bridge. And now there's two. And I have to go across or take the ferry, which I really like, but it is pretty expensive. So that is where I live. I live in Washington. Washington State. Let's see. I was born to Deborah and Stan in a town, actually in between towns. I was born on Reese Air Force Base down in Texas. It is in between Lubbock, Texas and Shallow Water. And it actually doesn't exist anymore. So I did go back and see it a few years ago, and it was very interesting, empty buildings and stuff. But I was born on Reese Air Force Base. My mom's dad, my grandpa, lived down there, and she was living with him or in his little side house with my dad. They were married, and she was pregnant with me. My dad joined the Navy in order to support and create a life for us, and it did, and I'm extremely thankful for that. I don't know what I would have done or what our family would have been without that. But being in the military and what it is, we moved. We moved. I was a baby, so I really honestly am not sure completely the chain of sequence or the sequence of how it went, but I think it was Rhode Island and then New Hampshire and then Connecticut. I think. I'm not sure. But we were in Connecticut. That Connecticut is where I first start remembering things. In fact, my first memory is my little sister being born and getting to go to the hospital. So we're in Connecticut. I'm young. We live on base. I adore it. My mom does daycare. And so I always have friends coming over every day. I even, when I was, I think 4 or 5 or something, maybe even 6, I made a newsletter called the Penny Saver or something like that. It was like a neighborhood newsletter, and I would ask people for subscriptions and then deliver their paper every day about current neighborhood events. I think that's funny. Anyway, we lived in Navy housing, and it was I believe it was a 3-bedroom. It was, because my parents had their room. I had a playroom, and then, and the daycare. And then I had my room. My mom got pregnant with my little sister when I was 3 years old. I had just turned 3. And they took the playroom and changed it into her room. And I really don't know. I don't remember this. My mom tells the story. Apparently, I didn't think my sister was very good looking, because I think she was adorable now looking back, and I think she is a very gorgeous woman when she's clean and sober. But I told my mother, I don't know if I wanted my playroom back or what, but I told my mother, I said, I'm really scared of the monsters, and Sarah's really ugly, and I think that if we shared a room, she would scare the monsters away. I am not a very nice sister. So I got my playroom back, and I had my little sister in my room, and we had matching mermaid stuff. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. I know how my wife knows what her mother's always getting her. Oh Lord, that little beepy beep was her package is on the way, and then she's a little sneaky sneak. Well, hi, Share Bear. I'm good. I am pretty much chugging my coffee, but I'm kind of doing an all about me. I haven't gotten too far into it. Basically, I was born on Reese Air Force Base down in Texas to Deborah and Stan. Stan joined the military to provide a life for us. We were in Connecticut. I had my little sister when I was 3 years old and 10 months to the day. And despite me thinking that she was ugly enough to scare the monsters away, I really did love her. And we lived in Connecticut for a while until I was, I think, almost 8 or almost 9. I'm really not sure. Can't really remember. And we moved here to Washington. My dad's in the Navy. He's in submarines, so he was stationed here. And my whole world, for some reason, changed when I got here. It was also, I think, the beginning of puberty for me, because I just didn't transition very well at all. It's also the age that I was considering suicide, and got some help and found out that I was bipolar, and so on and so forth. But I pretty much had a normal life here in Washington. Grew up with a great neighborhood of people. I mean, it was really Sesame Street living. It was barbecues every weekend, game nights, dinners, family, TV nights, family vacations. It was the epitome of the perfect raising. And my parents always have supported me in any way, shape possible. I mean, mentally, physically, emotionally, Financially, at times, they've come in and saved my butt. Um, so that's a little bit about how I got to where I am kind of now. A little bit about me. After I did have a hard time in school, grades don't come easy for me. But I went to DSU anyway. I went and tried college and came home shortly after, met my ex-husband. And I wanted everything so perfect. I wanted a picket white fence, the family. I wanted to give my kids what my parents gave me, only I wanted 12 kids, 12 children. You never want 12 children again. I had one and went, oh, okay. Well, never mind. But I knew I wanted him. And so me and my ex-husband tried really, really hard for him for quite a few months. I almost want to say a year. But I just knew that he was supposed to be here. I was supposed to bring him here. And he's here to do something important. I just know it. That's weird. Anyway. So me and my ex-husband had my son. He was a cesarean, and this was back in 2005. And he was a cesarean, an emergency cesarean. And I'm kind of flying through this get to know me thing because there's tons of fun stories and stuff I can tell about, like when me and my ex-husband got married, and there was funny moments in that. There are funny moments and great memories with JD's birth, but he was cesarean, an emergency cesarean. It was stressful but memorable. And me and his father happened to not get along very well after that, and had some issues, and that will never be brought up. I will never, ever, ever, ever discuss what we fought about, why we fought, when we fought, how we fought, what. It's completely 100% irrelevant. My son doesn't need to know. What he does need to know, and what everyone can't know, is that we got divorced. It wasn't easy. We got to a point where we are good parents for GD, and probably the best example of co-parents I've ever seen. We have dinners together now, all step parents, us, everything. But we divorced. We weren't getting along. We divorced. Things happened. And thank goodness we did. Because while I love having a family and all of that, and I would have loved to provide that one family for JD, Kelly's my soulmate. And I don't think I could have kept living that way. And I don't know what I would do without his other half. She is by far amazing, and has probably been the best thing that has happened for JD. I don't know where we'd be without her. So I just adore her. So thank God me and him didn't get along. Goodness gracious, thank goodness. And so anyway, I came out of the closet after I left my ex-husband and tried to integrate myself into the world and, be single and mingle and find the fish in the sea. And I found really yucky fish. And then I thought Kelly. And it was fine. We got married last April. We just had our very first anniversary. And I don't think we'll be ever splitting up. So, and we live in Gig Harbor now, in a house, just me and her. Both of our boys, she has a son as well. Both of our boys live with their fathers. I, the most influential parent, Dr. Phil says this all the time, the most influential parent to a teenager is the same sex parent. I cannot provide a male influence. I love Kelly Bell. And I cannot relate. I didn't have in any way, shape, or form. I'm not a boy. I never had a brother. My dad was home, but he was in the military and all that. So I mean, it's just best that way. And he lives 20 minutes away from me. We have dinner all the time. If he wants to come over, he can ask. Most of us usually say yes, given there's nothing else that needs to happen that was already planned. My stepson doesn't have that opportunity. He lives down in Oregon, so it's not as easy. But it's just me and Kel in this house, and I adore this house. I love this house. I love this property, everything about it. Well, okay, that's not true. I would change two things. But this, I love the neighborhood. I love the fact that my backyard is a forest. I love that I have hiking trails in my backyard. I love that I have a fire pit. I love that I have a vegetable garden. I love the way my house looks. The only thing I think I would change is I would take down a few branches near my vegetable garden on those really tall trees, so that my vegetable garden gets even more sun. And then I think I would cover the front porch. I don't think I would cover the back porch, because I want the back porch not covered for barbecuing, stuff like that. God, I love my cup. I don't know if you guys can read it. It says, "Be a nice human." I got a t-shirt the other day. It says same thing. So, and now we're living in Gig Harbor in this house. And I don't know how to explain it. I felt this way when I was with Pete. We were trying for JD, and JD was coming and all that. But it just feels real good. It feels like I'm supposed to be here. Like Kelly's never supposed to go away. I don't know how to explain it. It just fits. It fits like a nice shirt. I don't know how to explain it. It just fits. And the more I think about it, the more grateful I get for it, the more I want to cry. So I'm not going to. So that is me. I work at Walmart. I didn't all the time. My work history. Bye, Share Bear. It was nice having you here. Again, I'm just rambling about myself. So I hope your grocery trip goes well, though. My very first job was when I was 14. I worked at a daycare. And when I was 18 or 17, I worked at Radio Shack, then at a bank, then at a CNA place, or vice versa. I can't remember the order. Then I was a nanny. Then I worked at other retail places. Then I worked at Taco Bell for 3 years. I thought for a minute it had me fooled, and I thought that was my calling, because I was a manager training to be the assistant in hopes to get our own store one day, because I wanted to mentor and mold and empower young people into the workforce. I wanted, people that could be held accountable, could take criticism, constructive criticism, could be recognized when doing things well. Promoting, moving people up, shaping good work habits, designing their style of customer service. I just loved doing all these things and watching certain employees go through the drive-through, be terrified that first day, just like almost shaking. And then watch them start coming up with their own little jokes, or watching them make a customer laugh, or watching them help a customer in a way that working at Taco Bell, you didn't think you'd get to help them, which is amazing. When someone comes through your drive-through, you made them smile, and they tell you that they just got the worst news of their life, or something happened to them and you brighten their day. That's huge. That's what life's about. And to be able to watch someone be able to do that and watch them feel good about themselves when they figured out how to do it, that to me is just, that's life's chocolate. That's life's chocolate. And I think I'm kind of grieving leaving there, because I really love doing it. I hated the stress, but I'm good under high pressure situations. I'm good at fast pace. So it fit and I felt good. And it was hard at times, and that made it feel better sometimes. And I miss it. Oh, do I miss it? But I can't create that atmosphere without tools and accountability. And if you can't hold people accountable, you cannot watch them rise above the stars. And I want to watch people shoot. They're shooting stars. So after almost a year and a couple of tragic decisions by the person I thought was my friend, and who I thought would never do certain things and did them, I left. And after much encouragement from my wife, she was so done with that situation. She had had enough of me coming home and crying, enough of me questioning who I am, enough of my mentor breaking my heart on a daily basis. So I left. I also needed to get stable on some meds, because I had not been medicated on any kind of medication for my bipolar 2 since I was in my teens. Mainly because most medications for bipolar are either they usually knock you out. You usually get put on a sedative of some kind, which I'm on now, and you sleep for 10 to 15 hours. You can't do that when you're a single mom of a young child. So now that I'm not, and he lives with his dad, and he's 14, almost 15, it was time to get stable. So I did. I quit my job, and my wife took care of everything while I went to the doctors and created somewhat of a routine for myself, and got stable on meds. And they're still doing well. And that's where we are now. Interesting. So I think it is noon, and I promised myself that at noon I was going to get off of here. And I was going to clean up the house, because my wife has been doing everything lately when it's my turn. So I'm going to fold that clean laundry, make my bed, get this house cleaned up. And I don't know what the afternoon's going to bring. This is the first time me and my wife will be able to spend time together in almost a week. She is off at 1, and so we will either go on a hike, or we will hang out here and do masks and, putter around the massive amount of projects we have going on around here. Or who knows, maybe we'll hop on here. Who knows? But I'm going to go and get that done. Love to all. And as I always say, stay grateful. Bye, guys. Oh, wait, maybe not yet. Okay, bye, guys.